Welcome to Morgan's video blog, Morgan's online blog in video format. Today I'm here to share with you the secret trick that will help you fix your rough draft in 30 minutes or less. Okay, it won't fix your rough draft in 30 minutes or less, but it will fix, the trick takes 30 minutes or less. So when you finished a rough draft, congratulations, you've done what so many people just talk about doing. Butt in chair, you got your story out. But now what? You've got this mess of a draft sitting there in front of you. Sometimes it's long and messy, and sometimes it's short and sparse. But it doesn't matter. You wrote a novel. Pour yourself a toast and enjoy. But after you enjoy that toast, your friends and family, especially the ones who are supportive or at least faking it, are now asking if they can read it. Only one problem. If it's a rough draft like mine, it's a mess. So, next, you gotta edit it. And if you're anything like me, you edit your rough draft, and when you look at it, you realize you're just working line edits and making the sentences readable so you can see what you have. You haven't actually revised it. The plot, the pacing, and the flow, everything's still a mess. It's just a pile of pages and papers. You're beginning to despair of ever turning this manuscript into something people might want to read. And that's where my secret trick comes in. Okay, well, maybe it's not a secret, but it is a nifty trick. Sit down, think about your dream agent, and write a query letter. What, Morgan? You gasp in horror and fear. It's not remotely ready for outside eyes, especially not my agent. As you know, it's not polite to keep querying an agent every time you come out with a new revision. You want to wait until your manuscript is ready. So Morgan, why am I writing a query, and how is this going to fix my rough draft, you ask? Query yourself. I can feel you looking at me askance and sighing. This sounds like one of those mumbo-jumbo esoteric writing exercises. Well, yes, it is. But when you write your query letter, you're reducing your story, your world, your characters to their most basic form. Main character wants A, but B stands in their way. That's it. Writing queries is hard. It's a completely different skill than writing a novel or even short stories. You've got barely 200 words to say everything. Yet, when you sit down to write a query, a strange thing happens. You find out what the story you wrote is actually about. What, you ask? I wrote the thing. It can't possibly be that I don't know what my story is about. It's clearly about main character and major plot point. But when you reduce it down to its bones, that's when you can see what lies beneath its skin. You find your story's theme. Often it's something you didn't even know you were trying to say. And you find your core plot, which may have been an overarching plot that you couldn't see for the trees. Together, the theme and the core plot provide you with a compass to help you plot your way through your rough draft. And finally, it's time for you to revise. Once you know both which plot points you want to emphasize and what the theme at the core of your story is, then it's easier to see which scenes and which characters are supporting these plots and themes. If you have a scene or character that does not support your core plot or theme, you've got a couple options. One, delete it. Just get rid of it. You don't need it. It's not necessary for the story. Skip over the boring bits. 2, edit it so it does support the core plot or theme, or both, even better. Or revise your query and focus your story on something new. When you reanalyze your manuscript and point it in a different direction, your compass is reoriented and you can adjust your story and your manuscript to go in that new direction. So once you have your compass, then you revise the whole manuscript again and then rewrite your query. Every new draft deserves a new query. The story may have taken you in new and exciting directions. And that's my trick for figuring out where to start when revising a rough draft. What tricks do you use to get your rough draft right? And have you ever considered writing your query before you even draft your story? Let me know, and I'll see you next week.